Her pitch to the mayor is thus: why with expensive roads fuss? Fund my bikes, do a ditty, place them all around the city, and with traffic you farting and sucks. Hello heroes, and how do you do? This is a Beast Morphers review. It's for episode 3, so now we will see just how End of the Road will now do. Now some of you may be saying, hey, why are you talking in that way? In case you weren't aware, but you actually care, this aired before St. Patrick's Day. And being of Irish acclaim, that even impacts my own name, I thought a neat gimmick would be doing a limerick to change up my reviewing game. But before I begin to start chatting about all of the stuff that did happen, I thought it'd be great to give you an update on YouTube, which I've been so glad in. I'm sorry to have to say, Hasbro took the money away. Wearily I sighed, it was demonetized. Episode 2, they get the pay. But as I've stated before, I'm not too terribly sore. I don't really care. Screen caps still all dare. YouTube already DM'd me before. I will say if YouTube is nice and returns to me ads in their price, I would have to say screen caps now cannot stay. Hear that, YouTube? I'm here to entice. But talking of ads, I'm now tired. Let's not let this review get all mired talking ads and their money. Let's review something, honey. End of the road, feeling inspired. This episode starts in the lab, where Nate and his friend Zoey gab. The result of Nate's planning is called the X-Cannon. Combining two weapons is fab. The weapon is something she likes, but she's come to check in on her bikes. Nate's built the contraption to her satisfaction. It's good for adults and for tykes. Now, it wouldn't be terribly mean to point out I didn't wear green, but it'll be a cinch I won't get the pinch. These green beads I've got are quite keen. Zoey's designed these neat dealies, Morph-X bikes that'll let you do wheelies. Nate's built this one here, but Zoey, don't you fear. Grid Battle Force makes the rest. Reallys? As Bulk and Skull music plays, Ben and Betty enter. To yays? They want a bike too. Nate says, here's what you'll do. Here's some parts. Go build one for days. Zoey pedals as fast as she can, for this is phase 2 of her plan. But she mutters, oh great, as she thinks she's too late, as bulldozers roll down the land. The reporter that we've seen before makes us aware of the score. The road that is coming through the forest is cutting, and traffic will soon be no more. Zoey throws herself in the scene right in front of this great big machine, leaping in like a wizard to save this poor lizard, impressing the mayor as seen. He remembers her in her strife and thanks her for the lizard's life, but she's not satisfied, nor is she tongue-tied about this road through the forest it knifes. What's got her fries in the fritters is the home of these dear poor sweet critters. If the road cuts through here, then that home disappears, and that will just leave her in titters. The mayor is quite sympathetic, but thinks traffic is pathetic. It eats up your time, it's as bad as the rhyme as I used in line 1 of this, bet it. Zoey's got a plan in her hatch, because she solves the big problems, Natch. Don't drive, go for a hike, or rather, a bike. Her invention is just quite a catch. Her pitch to the mayor is thus: why with expensive roads fuss? Fund my bikes, do a ditty, place them all around the city, and traffic you won't have to cuss. Daniels thinks that her plan is on fleek and will fund her new bikes for a week. If people go riding, then he'll be deciding that roads are for people who are weak. The reporter thinks this is the bomb. Surprise, she's also Zoey's mom. Muriel Reeves is her name, reporting's her game. I wonder if her father's Tom. The laundry girl's in no danger of staying from success a stranger. Her life's charted course is to run Battle Force. She may even become a ranger. Over in the world of red skies, Evox won't be saying goodbyes. Morph-X down the drain. And who is to blame? According to Scrozzle, these guys. We didn't see this in the teaser, but Roxy says, shut up, you geezer. Zoey's experiment will help us put a dent in the Morph-X we need, you big wheezer. The Rangers go and advertise the bikes to all of the guys and girls, but they're walking, and also they're talking about the look, which they despise. Ben and Betty then enter the scene, riding in on something that's quite keen. So what did they do? Built an X-Bike for 2, more amazing than anything seen. At least according to these folk, but to me that was really a joke. Double bikes are not cooler. Are you just a fooler? Your coolness skills do not seem woke. Blaze teleports to the real world and decides to give a whirl to making a robot so the Morph-X he'll have got and make Scrozzle cry like a very sad person. Being an observant chump, Blaze spots a nearby bike pump. In goes the key, and I guarantee that Needletron's born from that clump. The Rangers run up and they say, "Hey, near the X bikes you can't stay." The monster says, "Oh, you dis? Well then you three watch this." Ben and Betty are blasted away. The comic relief here is better. The writers are now real go-getters. The two land in the water, and that's where they oughter, so they won't get hurt, just get wetter. "Don't mess with our friends for your sport." "But it's fun," that is Blaze's retort. So with the fierceness of Wharf, the Rangers now morph, a new sequence I need to report. The on-field morph last week was nice, but every time it would be quite the price. A sequence that's canned was just something planned. I guess you could call it a vice. Visually impressive it is, but I didn't quite give it a gee whiz. I will let you know that it gets a bit slow around when the visor did fizz. But anyway, back to the plot. It's time to see what this fight's got. Blaze joins in as well, morphs because what the heck, and into battle both sides trot. The two boys take on Needletron, while Blaze's rage Zoey will dawn. The boys don't impress as they're quickly undressed. Of their powers, they're demorphed, suits gone. Zoey is more of a fighter, though with her rabbit power she's lighter. She fights Blaze to a draw, but Needletron says, "Aw, let me narrow my blaster beam tighter." But Zoey's a city defender. She refuses to surrender. Now don't you get bored, she calls her gun and her sword and puts the two things in the blender. Needletron's destroyed. What a caper. Are these robots made of tissue paper? It's an Evox disaster that a single blaster has now destroyed two of these japers. Needletron has suffered fatal harm, but Blaze ends up with his arm. Stick a pin in it then, brings metal puns to 10, which is almost a cause for alarm. Robbie worries that Blaze got away and took some Morph-X home today. Zoey worries the action from her bikes will take traction, which makes little sense, I would say. In the world of Dark Crimson Skies, Scrozzle-chan once again tries to discredit the two. That's not enough goo for a robot of giant size. Blaze gives in to the provocation, but Roxy says, "Take a vacation. We've got the needle. Get more Morph-X we will, to shut up this annoying creation." Zoey heads the mayor's direction to ask for a nice extension, but he holds the line she can have no more time. The impending road raises the tension. This next scene is something I planned to attempt to better understand, but it's just what I feared. This next scene is just weird. Sorry, it's something I panned. The Rangers and bots will not rest. They went over to the forest to rescue the critters so they won't have to skitter when the road crew sees through their behest. They put in 2 tiny boxes, bugs and hedgehogs, but really not foxes. They'll stay there all night, but is it worth the fight to save creatures that live under rockses? It's not that I think that it's guff, but can they possibly save enough? Anyway, gotta get back to the script I must hack to the story, even if it's tough. But it's not, because this exchange is the very best part of each page of the script for this one. Even when this is done, I will not put its praise in a cage. Nate sees that Zoey's distraught, so gives cheering her up what he's got. But in his eager vim, this becomes about him. But what pathos he has brought. It's revealed that Nate's family isn't really around much, you see. No bro and no sis, though for a bro he would wish, and his parents do work overseas. The Rangers are his family now because they work together. Hey, wow! He tells Zoey she'll solve it before the animals have bought it, and says, "Didn't the people have a cow?" Only Ben and Betty's bike was cool. Apparently, are you a fool? A 2-seater isn't chic, it's an ancient antique, not something for which people drool. Zoey takes the basic advice. Her bike must leave people enticed. They've got to look cooler to make people drool, better than a machine to make rice. They start firing off some plans, but then the device on their hands gives off a chirp. Turns out Blaze, that twerp, is back and Morph-X he demands. A tube or two Blaze has soon got, but then the Rangers take their shot. The arm explodes and Blaze needs a new plan. He tries to morph, but then, what? His key is now out of Morph-X, and to him, that's a really big hex. To escape the ordeal, a bike he will steal. I'm hoping he won't cause some wrecks. The Rangers board some bikes as well, and what we got next I will tell. A chase scene and a ditty as they ride through the city, making Blaze say, "Oh dang well." Zoey's mom is up in the chopper, reporting on traffic and coppers, when she sees the dangers of the Power Rangers, chasing a guy with bikes proper. Blaze is a guy that's a grouse, so he leads the team to a warehouse. But showing some moxie on the inside is Roxy, who was going to be Ravi's spouse. The Rangers have got their suspects. The two have lots of Morph-X. They say, "We'll take it back." Roxy says, "Move and I'll hack the Morph-X and be blasted to hex." In a building the size of a barge, Blaze says it's time to recharge. Devin says, "Follow my lead," and uses super speed to give Roxy a kick, so now charge! So Roxy is one of the foxes, and she landed on some rubber boxes, which always looks silly, but I'm not gonna dilly, that's hardly the biggest of boxes. The Rangers strike more fighting poses till Roxy grabs them with her hoses. She throws them away and then turns right to say, "Blaze, take the Morph-X to where home is." Roxy uses her key to transform with a sound like it came from a storm. Looks like more monster danger than an evil ranger, but all the same tasks she'll perform. The Morph-X reaches the third ring, and that was exactly the thing Scrozzle needed to send a Gigadrone to end. The Rangers, Evox will be king. Needle Drone drops into the water and looks for a tower to slaughter. There's one near the bridge like a big Morph-X fridge, and now the tension's getting tauter. Ravi shows off his classic aplomb when he answers the call from his mom. One needs to postpone this fight for the drone, and they're sending Ravi, not Tom. Ravi gets into his Zord and then begins to head towards the source of the trouble, the feet near the bubbles, a victory soon to be scored. Smash soon suggests getting funky, so the Zord turns into a monkey. A missile bonanza, they're shaped just like banana, with slippery peels for the punky. The Gorilla Zord slaps it around, but Roxy says it's going down. Then Ravi gets pwned, Drone has missiles its own, and on Ravi's Zord they sure pound. But to suck the sap like a beetle, the drone then stabs the Zord with a needle. Morph-X is getting drained, and then this is explained, but the other two Ravi doesn't wheedle. Devin runs right out of sight, meaning this is now a cat fight, though one is a bunny, and this isn't funny. The other is wires and fright? The warehouse is not quite a palace, and sometimes I get a sore talus, but I've got to ask, please don't take me to task, doesn't Roxy sound like Metal Alice? I hope you excuse any clattery. My camera has quite the weak battery. It has hardly the power to record for an hour, so it's for the cord I was scattering. Roxy takes a shot while she hissed, but doesn't it seem that she missed? No, not quite. That's a psych because she hit the bike, and soon it will be explosion kissed. So Zoey yanks out the green goo, but yikes, didn't she just miss too? Nope, right on the money, lands right near the honey. And by honey, I mean explosions too. There's only one thing I don't get, and I don't think my ears are that wet. My eyes are astute. Roxy was gonna shoot those same barrels and blow things up. Woot? The explosion is smaller in scale, though Roxy still lets out a wail. It's the end of this date. This fight is a stalemate, so Roxy runs and tucks her tail. The ending was not quite dramatic. The Zord fight was anticlimactic. Devin shows up, sword whack, then a final attack, and Needle Drone's up in the attic. Zoey gets to the construction with a new printed instruction for a cooler X bike that more people will like to get more time to do her deduction. But the mayor's already on board, literally as he did Horde, one for him and the same for Assistant No Name. X-Bikes, those are what they scored. So what changed his mind on this thing? What made the bell inside ring? Zoey's mom and the case of the Rangers' chase. The news report added a zing. The mayor steps over a toad and announces the end of this road. Now there's a building void. The workers look annoyed, a small detail to which I was woed. He's ordered 5K of the bikes, which will surely get him Facebook likes. Zoey did what she said, people will bike instead, and maybe through this forest take hikes. After Zoey gives Mom a hug long, we hear that now annoying song. Ben and Betty are back, and they're on the attack against logic and thinking unwrong. They are now devoted disciples of their new X unicycles, but Morph-X won't decide if they know how to ride, and it ends with a crash. Roll the titles. Lucky as a four-leafed clover, the recap portion is now over. I've dropped rhymes in spades, so let's throw some shades before my brain gets all taken over. Episode 3, End of the Road. The pros, there are a load. Zoey's growth here was great, a great scene for Nate. The fight scenes deserve to be crowed. This episode was not perfect, especially when you inspect the cons. There were 3, now I'll let you see the things I did not find correct. The problem seemed quite overblown, the comedy was poorly insewn, and the Zord attacking was a little bit lacking. Those are the cons in the zone. However, I'm not going to jive. Beast Morphers is still quite live. It is far from a pain, so now let me explain. This one gets 4 shades out of 5. Zoey was the star this time round, getting her character off the ground. She showed passion and grace with just a little trace of sadness when things look quite down. Another thing that was the bomb was that we got to meet this girl's mom. She's around, she supports the 2 women cohorts. She's not missing like the rhyme in this line. The second thing that was just great was surprise development for Nate. His parents aren't there, for a brother he'd care. Developments for future dates? The chase on the bikes was just awesome. Rangers, bad guys like to toss them. Roxy got in the mix. Good and bad got their kicks. Love when original footage blossoms. After I watched this film reel, I did not get the big deal about one little road that could avoid the toad and all of the animals reel. A road won't take the forest down. We're not burning the thing to the ground, and the law guarantees planting of new trees when you cut the trees in a town down. It was weird that the Rangers were talking to folks in the city seen walking. Take this thing to bars, or at least to people with cars. Those are the ones worth your stalking. Our comic relief took a hack. Yeah, this week they took a step back. Nothing was good. Didn't do what they should. Kind of wanted to give the 2 a smack. Okay, maybe not quite that bad, but my feelings were not nearly rad. Their time took a toll, my eyes certainly rolled, and that makes me a little bit sad. Hello, Smash, Ravi, how do you do? Because this was your big Zord debut. But a point of import, it was just really short. It just cuts off. Like, I had a thought in my head before I took myself to my bed. If this was the debut for the Zord Blue, why was the day saved by Red? But don't let these give you the wiggles, for these are all pretty small niggles. This show's still really keen, already quite evergreen. 13 out of 15 review squiggles. Now this show's already at a peak, but remember now that next week there's no new episode. The Kids' Choice Awards abode, so off the schedule it did leak. So here's what I'm going to do. Still going to give you a preview. New episode detection called Digital Deception. It's on in 2 weeks, so let's do. When Ravi is rescued by Roxy, maybe she's regained her moxie. He wonders if she would come back to fight for good, or if she's now evil by proxy. So that's going to end this review, and viewers, I'd like to thank you for watching, my dears, as I prodded your ears with rhymes, some good and some poo. My vids have an ending spiel, so viewers, here's the deal. I've got to stay true to the limericks due, or I might just lose on appeal. In the comment section below, I say, hey, what do you know? Tell me what were your likes about this show with bikes. Smack thumbs up so likes show. Some people watch while imbibing, but I think you should be subscribing. So your YouTube shows all my posts, videos, and together our interests are jiving. To end this video on par, you can donate digital tip jar, or coffee, that's $3, and if I have some lucks, some support will not be very far. Some may think this endeavor was poopers. I hope you at least enjoy bloopers. Don't do this all the time. I'm not that good at rhyme. That would be more skill than hoopers. Well, there's just one more thing to do, besides of course thanking you. It's the thing that I say at the end of each day. Heroes, may the power protect you. I thought a neat gimmick would be doing a limerick that... ah, dang it. Now you may be saying, so hey, why are you talking in that way? Farts. I thought a neat gimmick would be doing a limerick that... gosh, darn it. Hear that, YouTube? I'm here to entice. I would have to say something, words and dumplings. But talking of ads now, I'm tired. Let's not let this review get all mired talking ads and their price. I don't know the words. Yeah, I had the wrong rhyme anyway. God. This is 2 stanzas. I'm supposed to do better than this. But talking of ads, I'm now tired. Let's not let this review get all mired. I did it. No, I was doing it right. I will say if YouTube is nice and returns to me ads and their price, this episode starts in the lab where Nate and his the weapon is something she likes, but she's coming. The result of Nate's plan and is called the X cannon. Combining 2 weapons is fab. Oh God. Now it wouldn't be terribly mean to point out I didn't wear green, but in quite a no. Zoey's designed these neat dealies, Morph-X bikes that will let you do wheelies. What's got her? If the road cuts through here, then that home will disappear. What's got her fries in the fritters is the home of this poor What's got her fries in the fritters is the home of these dear sweet poor creatures. Critters! It eats up your time. It's as bad as the rhyme. And the what's got poor Zoey in the laundry girl's in no danger from success to The laundry girl's in no danger from success. Oh God, of staying from success. The laundry girl's in no danger. Why can't I say? The laundry girl's in no danger of staying from success. A strange success. The Rangers then go out and first because what the heck, and both. Yep, I knew that was gonna happen. The 2 boys take on Needletron. Needletron's destroyed. What a caper. Are these things made of tissue paper? Zoey takes the basic advice. Turns out Blaze, that twerp, is... The arm explodes and... Devin says, follow my lead and use this super... The warehouse isn't quite a... I hope you excuse any clattery. It turns out, gosh darn it. Lucky as a 4-leafed clover, the review portion is the Some people watch while imbibing, but I actually kind of like that. And together our interests can jiving. Some people watch while imbibing. Some may think this endeavor was something. Some may think this endeavor was poopers, but I hope you at least enjoyed... Some may think this endeavor was poopers. I hope you at least enjoyed bloopers. Don't do the...